Hi guys, Jan here and welcome to our channel, HuStrat, and today we will be talking about the things that recruiters and employers are looking for in a resume. Alright, so if you want to stand out from the crowd, if you want to progress from someone who is just submitting their resume and moving that through and progressing your resume to an actual interview, you will need to make sure that the recruiter or the reader can actually spot your resume and within seconds get that interest in your resume, right? Recruiters and hiring managers receive essentially a ton of emails, a ton of applications for a single role. And sometimes what they typically do and what I sometimes do or most of the time do when receiving resumes is that I just go ahead and browse through them before deciding whether or not the candidate will push through with the actual interview process. And in order to make an immediate impact, your resume will need to communicate the following information in the most compact yet readable form. So first off, one of the things that you have to do is to make sure that your roles and responsibilities are communicated clearly. Okay, so first thing, if you're applying for a certain position, you will need to actually tailor fit your resume to the position that you are applying for, to each particular job, to each particular opportunity that you are applying for. It is vital that the job titles and responsibilities are included on your resume, or rather the job titles and responsibilities are actually related to the job that you are applying for. Does not necessarily have to be like a direct match, but the relative skills and the relative responsibility or the related skills and related work experience should be there. Although you will also need to clarify your previous roles. It is also important that your resume offers more than just a list of responsibilities. It has to convey that message that the roles and responsibilities that you did is somehow related to the position or to the opportunity that you are applying. Next is experience. Your resume will be scanned for the right kind of experience. Always expect that. Once a recruiter or a talent acquisition specialist looks at your resume, one of the key items that we will be looking for is your experience. What was your experience doing the job role? At the same time, the length of experience that you've done for that specific role, whether it's 6 months, whether you've had the role for years. And also one of the things that we want to make sure is that if you have put in your experience, we have to make sure that all of it is relevant. All of the items there are relevant again to the job that you're applying for. So that would often go back to the first point that we talked about, is that you have to tailor fit your resume for the job that you are looking for. Be clear where you add value and your exact contribution in a high profile project. So in your experience, you have to indicate like what are those projects that you worked on, what is your impact, and what is your major contribution there. The next one is skill. Ensure you include all relevant skills that you have gained and you have utilized in your previous roles, and how does that skill relate to the position that you are applying. Your skill will complement your experience. That is so true, because Your experience will tell us that you are skillful in this kind of project, and it will also tell us how you utilize your skills to complete the project, as well as to what are the skills that you've utilized through your experience. And ultimately, it will illustrate your suitability for the job offer. So there. And the next item will be results and achievements. This is very important in a resume, because when you indicate your experience, when you indicate your skill set, you will also have to indicate what are the projects that you have worked on, what was the nature of the project, what was the result of the project, what did you achieve on that project. Most hiring managers would love to see result. So if you achieved something that is, let's say you've indicated a target and you have achieved that target, and you have achieved a metric that is well above target, hiring managers would often love to see that. If you can indicate numbers, that is also good. The next item is you will also need to put in your educational attainment. Education is also important, especially when you are applying for highly specialized position, and it will tell us that, oh hey, this person is a graduate of engineering, thus this person has pursued these kinds of project that is related to his or her education. So there, that's why it's also important to indicate your educational attainment, your course, your degree. If you have a master's degree in let's say economics, or in engineering, or a doctorate degree. So there. And another thing is also formatting, right? This is very critical. This is something that we would often look at. It tells us, it will give us a glimpse rather of who the person or what kind of person we will be facing when we do the interview, based on the format, the overall format of the resume. Once you've got the details right, okay, on your resume, it will need to look good, it will need to feel good, like the bullets, the paragraphs, as well as is it going to grab attention. But essentially, it's going to be like how you format the resume, how you write your sentences, how you write the paragraphs as well, how you do your spacing, how you put in your bullets, how you use and utilize the size of the fonts that you're using. So there, it's also important for us, because there is definitely it will be definitely easy for us to kind of grab the resume and see the formatting and see, oh, this resume formatting is also good. Why not go ahead and take a look at the resume and kind of spend a little more time on the resume itself. So there. The next item is that it should be easy to read. So easy to read, right? You have to ensure that the layout of your resume is clear and consistent, containing only one type of font when you do your paragraph and whatnot, right? So one type of font when you do your paragraph. Next thing that you will have to make sure is you have to make sure that the resume itself is easy to read. You have to ensure the layout of your resume is something clear and consistent and only containing one font, right? You can change the font size if you want to highlight your summary, your work experience, your educational attainment, but it's more professional if it's only one font, okay? And at the same time, you have to ensure another item, which is avoid inconsistencies. Ensure your resume runs in reverse chronological order. So there. Personally, for me, what I like when I see the resume is that your latest work experience should be on top, and your past work experience should be below that, after that, and whatnot. So the latest work experience should be the first one. And that is how I would love to read the resume. That is what I prefer personally if I am looking at the resume of a candidate. The next item is relevant language. Okay, ensure you include important keywords through your resume. So, example, if you are applying for an engineering role, you have to put in relevant language. If you are applying for computer science, computer programming, so what are your relevant languages in there? Is it C#? Is it Photoshop? Is it Adobe Premiere or whatnot? So relevant language should be there. This will create a link in the mind of the reader between you and the requirement of the role. Avoid excessive jargon. Sometimes if there's just a lot of jargon, that it will be hard for the recruiter to read. Sometimes it's going to veer us away from that resume. Also, be mindful that the person reading the resume is not necessarily an expert in that field. Okay? Last thing that you have to remember and you have to make sure is format and label. Ensure that your resume is formatted in such a way that the recipient is able to open it easily. No hiring manager would want to download software to view the resume. Make sure that when you save your resume, you include your name, you include the position that you're applying for, you include what it is a resume, and the saved title. It's also a courtesy to keep your application at 100 megabytes. It's not, for me, honestly, it's not necessarily an issue. What I am keen on is the accessibility of the resume itself. And it also holds true that when you send your resume, the way that I would love to view the resume is your name, the position that you're applying for, and the title resume. So there, you may possess all the desired skills and experience and whatnot. However, if we cannot access the resume, if it gets lost, if it's just too hard to access, no one will be able to see it, thus not granting you that interview process. So there. And for more advice on perfecting your resume, we are actually holding a webinar bootcamp, and the topics that we have is essentially like applying for your first job, landing your first interview, and how to act on your first interview, as well as formatting your resume. So if you want to join that webinar, please feel free to click the link below. We also have another webinar that we've already completed, and it deals with how to prepare for your first interview. That's part of our long format content, and you can simply go ahead and check the link below as well. So that is it for me, and thank you so much for being here with us. If you want more contents like this, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and it will go a long way if you do that. And that's it for me. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!